Hey fellow golfers, to follow on from the recent clip on how to move from being a mid-handicap to low handicap and highlighting key areas that you should try to focus on, I thought it was worth doing two separate clips consecutively. One is on some key things that pros do, and the question to ask yourself is, do you do those things? There were 9 areas that were recently highlighted in a recent article, and I thought it was worth sharing these with you. The second, which will follow after this clip, is some key data on Patrick Cantlay and his performance, and specific areas where he does really well, which is a reminder and a reaffirmation of those aspects that I highlighted on focusing on your short game. It is one thing to look at other pros' swings and perhaps emulate some of them and learn some elements to improve your technique. I've done many clips on pro comparisons that you may want to look at. Equally, male pro golfers and female pro golfers. But some of the data really brings it home in terms of aspects that you can quickly learn from and adopt. So, do you do these 9 things? 1. Warm up properly, even before going to the range. So do you do some key stretches? Do you do some warm-up exercises? Pros do, so that even when they come to the range, they're already somewhat limbered up. And then on the range, if you watch them, the early part is to just do warm-up swings, not worrying where the ball is going, not thinking about technique, not hitting a lot of balls, just warming up the swing. So do you do proper warm-ups? Second, their 100-yard pitches are really full shot swings. Tend to be 3/4 swings, punch shots, perhaps a bump and run, depending on the course and the conditions. But really a full out shot. Are you pitching within yourself? Are you swinging within yourself in your 100-yard pitch shots? Third, something I've highlighted before on course planning and course management. But pros are very good at knowing where they cannot hit the ball. So, avoiding key points on the course, avoiding short-sighting themselves, avoiding where there is trouble, be it difficult bunkers or the landing point is such that the ball will probably roll off the green into difficult rough. As examples, amateurs make a lot of mistakes in not plotting their way around the course to suit their shots and their game. Are you mapping out each and every hole for the shots you can execute? Fourth, understanding your game and your swing and your tendencies, not only as a general rule, but even specifically on the day. Are you finding that you are slightly fading the ball that day, or slightly pulling or drawing the ball? Do you understand your game and your tendencies? Do you play to your tendencies? So if you are slightly pulling the ball, let's take an example. I'm a left-hander, so if I'm slightly pulling the ball I'm moving to the right. If I need to be more central as the shot, then I will aim a little bit more to the left that day, so that, and swing as I am swinging that day, so that little draw and pull doesn't get me into trouble and actually ends up with a shot that I need to make in terms of both landing point and rollout point. So do you understand your game and your tendencies, and do you work with those tendencies, or are you fighting those tendencies? Fifth, starting lines when putting. They're very good at understanding their starting lines, not the end point. They know the end point, but if there's a slope, say, let's say left to right or right to left, then understanding the starting line is not straight out the hole, but actually with that slope. So they're very good at getting their starting lines right, and of course their pace, which I've mentioned on numerous occasions. And I'll come back to with respect to Patrick Cantlay. Sixth, they work a lot more than ever before on the mental game, on the process, not on results, not on making sure they get a par or a birdie or a bogey. That's not what's in their head. They're working on the process, their shot routines, pre-shot, shot, post-shot, shot routine. Part of that is their mental state. So there are a lot of techniques and methods that you can use, breathing techniques, muscle tension release techniques, for example, and I've covered that in my series on the mental game. Take a look at the playlist. I'll put a link to the playlist up above. The mental game is really important because, as Jack Nicklaus said, it's 80% of the game. Seventh, I cannot stress this enough. Something pros do, are you doing? Do you visualize the shot before you play it? Both the direction, the trajectory, the curve, the landing point. Do you visualize it? And even in your practice shot, you are practicing that visualization. It really makes a big difference. I have found, for example, of late, when I do that systematically, especially on my driving, but equally on my iron shots, that my dispersion comes down dramatically because I visualize it and I already practice it in my mind. And then as I do the shot, I'm really repeating the visual elements in my mind. Do you visualize every shot? Eighth, they practice with a purpose. They don't just practice, they don't just hit balls, they don't just go to the range and say it's time to do a bit more practice. Aside from warm-up routines, aside from addressing certain technical aspects, they practice with a purpose. So even on the range, they play out the course in their head, they play out every hole. They go to any practice session with a very specific purpose in mind, not just, let's see how I'm doing today in chipping or putting. They practice with a particular purpose related to the course they're playing, related to the conditions they're playing in. Do you practice with a purpose? Ninth, and not least, they clean their clubs after every shot. Why? It's really important not to have dirt filling the grooves or a blade across still on the blade, because that is going to affect your contact control, your trajectory, and your ability also to stop the ball in the case of short game pitching or chipping. Make sure after every shot you've cleaned your club very quickly, and it's very simple to do. You see that pros clubs, of course a lot of them have caddies to do that, but there's a reason they're doing that. Clean your clubs after every shot. I hope these few things that were recently highlighted on certain characteristics that pros follow, and something each of us as examiners can do are helpful to you. Have you got 7 out of 9 of these already down pat? In which case do the remaining 2. If it's 2 out of 9, then there are areas you need to work on. See you on the flip side.